Introduction to Music Theory Module 5 Highlights. This module takes us to a new, more complex area than any previous material: structure of a major scale, the circle of fifths, and key signatures. We'll start right with the C major scale you're already familiar with from previous modules. C major scale has 7 different pitches from C to B. The top repeated C closes the octave and provides a resolution of the 7th scale degree. Now let's take apart this scale and see and hear what it is made of. First, what makes it major? Scales get major or minor designation primarily according to the size of the third interval up from the first pitch. In this case, our first pitch is C. The third up from C, as we can see in the notated scale, is E. This is how that interval of third sounds in C major. And this is how it sounds in C minor. And these are triads built on the first scale degree C. First in major, then in minor. You can hear the difference between major and minor. If you cannot, try singing along with keyboard with syllables do mi for major and do me for minor. The interval of third for major scale is a major third. This is what defines any major scale in the first place. Next, we'll look into relationships between and among all the notes of C major. There are 8 notes, including the repeated C, that is 7 different notes and scale degrees. We can now put to work those half and whole steps learned earlier. In consecutive order, C major consists of a whole step, half step, whole, and half. However, it is enough for you to memorize where the half steps are, that is between E and F, 3rd and 4th scale degrees, and between B and C, 7th and 8th scale degrees, and that all other distances are whole steps. This applies to any major scales. All major scales are built with half steps between 3 and 4 and 7 and 8. Listen to C major again with repeated notes, so you can focus on these relationships. Can you hear the difference between whole and half steps? So, the second characteristic of a major scale is location of half steps between 3 and 4 and 7 and 8. The next important feature of C major is that second half step between 7th and 8th scale degrees. Listen how this succession of pitches lacks its resolution and sounds unfinished. You want to add that last note because our ears are so used to Western harmony that it creates anticipation. We expect it to sound like this. The 7th scale degree in major is called the leading tone because it leads to resolution. Unlike in minor, major is its natural habitat. Leading tone exists in a major scale naturally. This is another general characteristic of major scales, just exemplified by C major. To summarize, main characteristics of major scales are the initial major third, half steps between third and fourth, and 7 and 8 scale degrees, and natural occurrence of the leading tone. Mastering major scale from these three aspects is a good starting point to learning other scales like 3 types of minor, modes, etc. Once you have the major scale structure down, you can use it as a template and compare all other scales as a sort of deviation from this template. All of this leads to examining a major scale from yet another angle. Even though we are still to learn intervals, which are distances among pitches, this is a good springboard to understanding them fully when the time comes. We'll now look at the relationships between the starting and other notes in C major. The intervals are major second, major third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, major sixth, and major seventh. This applies to any major scale. This is all for the Module 5 highlights. Have a wonderful week.